We are now less than 1 month away from this year's World Track and Field Championships, and things are officially starting to heat up even more. Oftentimes, after various national championships take place, we see a decent slowdown of times, brought on by a desire to stay healthy and sharp for the World Championships. However, that is not what we are seeing in 2025, because despite already having most national championships completed, we just witnessed one of the single greatest days that I can remember in track history, and it all took place in Silesia, Poland. From various meeting records to 3 different Diamond League records in one event, this is one of the greatest days that I can remember in athletics. And Silesia is certainly no stranger to incredible times. This is the site of Jakob Ingebrigtsen's 3,000 world record. We've seen Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce run a 10.66 in the 100. However, the 2025 competition will not soon be forgotten. To kick things off, we got what most would consider a World Championship final caliber event in the men's 100. There was Noah Lyles racing against Kishane Thompson, Kenny Bednarek was present, Christian Coleman, Trayvon Bromell, Courtney Lindsay, Akani Simbine, and Akeem Blake from Jamaica. What's amazing about this men's 100 is that this field included 5 athletes with personal bests under 9.80, which may or may not be the most sub 9.8s ever assembled in a Diamond League men's 100. So clearly, the excitement was there for various reasons, from various storylines to outright personal records. And ultimately, Kishane Thompson came away with a huge win in this 100, finishing in 9.87, boosting his confidence even more moving into the World Champs. This win from Kishane marks the first time he has taken down Lyles. And speaking of Noah, he put forth quite the impressive run in second, as he finished just behind Kishane in 9.90. The Battle of Kishane and Noah is one of my personal favorites in sprinting. They have quite different racing strategies. Kishane gets out of the blocks like lightning, Noah closes like a train, and when we take a look at this race from a graphical standpoint, we can see that that is exactly what happened in Silesia. In this graph right here, we can see Kishane down in the bottom in red, meaning that he was the one who won this race, and it shows the distance that he had on everyone else in the field. And for Noah, you can see his race here in the green. About 5 seconds into this race, Noah was in 6th or 7th. But over the final 5 seconds, Noah started to close, and over the final 2 seconds, Noah was getting dangerously close to Kishane. Noah was really the only one that managed to close on Kishane, as you can see other athletes such as Coleman, Bromell, and Lindsay getting even further away from Kishane over the final 2 or 3 seconds. But Noah's strength and speed is just off of the charts, and interestingly, Thompson went through 60 in 6.40 here, while Lyles went through in 6.49. I will admit, I was thinking Bednarek would run slightly faster. He ran a 9.79 in the US Champs, but he only ran a 9.96 here. I'm not exactly sure what happened with Bednarek, but I fully expect for him to run even faster come the World Champs. But for today, the race comes back to Lyles versus Thompson, and moving into Worlds, we should expect fireworks once again. Moving over to the women's 100, and it was once again all Melissa Jefferson Wooden. There were some great storylines in this event as well, but with another unbelievably quick time of 10.66, she proved that she is not only ready to go consistently under 10.7, but she actually just tied the meeting record of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and that 10.66 goes back to 2022, when Price ran under 10.7 various times. This was another dominant performance from Melissa Jefferson Wooden, as she took down everyone else in the field by 0.16 seconds. And shout out to Tia Clayton, who ran a 10.82 for a new personal best, taking down Tina Clayton and Marie-Josée Toulouse-Smith in 3rd and 4th place. Also, Sha'Carri only finished in 6th place here, but she did run a new season's best yet again, so potentially, moving into the World Championships, she will be able to compete, potentially for a medal. It seems as though it's already going to be difficult to qualify for the final, but she is improving day by day. Now, from a graphical standpoint, this really was a truly dominant win, as everyone else was just getting further and further away from Jefferson Wooden over the final 5 seconds. And through 60, Jefferson dropped a time of 6.92. And then for that final 40, she ran exactly 0.93 seconds for every 10-meter split, except for the final 10 meters, where she finished in 0.95. Running these kind of splits that consistently is just crazy work, especially considering she was completely by herself in a non-championship event. Many are claiming that Jefferson Wooden does have the potential to break 10.6. I think it would require a nearly perfect race on the perfect day, but potentially, we could see something of that caliber come the World Champs. Over in the women's 3,000, we did see a real assault on the 3,000 world record, which goes all the way back to 1993. And as we have repeated many times, there's quite the large population of people that think that this 3,000 world record is quite compromised, as this Chinese group of athletes have largely been associated with a big doping scandal. It's also interesting to note that this is the only world record on the men's or the women's side that stands with a Chinese athlete, and it's even more of an aberration considering it is a distance event, which is largely dominated by Kenyan and Ethiopian athletes. Regardless, the GOAT herself, Faith Kipyegon, came to the track today to try to put her name as the 3,000-meter world record holder. But she fell just short, finishing in 8 minutes, 7.04 seconds, falling less than 1 second away from the world record of Wang Junxia. This was quite the effort from the 1,500 GOAT, Faith Kipyegon, and shout out to Jessica Hull from Australia, who paced this race to perfection. Just look at these 400 splits for Faith Kipyegon throughout this entire race. She was glued right around 65 seconds, but I think it was the 5th lap that might have been her undoing, as that 66.4 put her just enough outside to where she couldn't close over the final 400. Faith Kipyegon continues to prove her class, and moving into the World Champs, she has to be the favorite for the 1,500. And speaking of favorites, we are seeing potentially the first real separation in the women's 100-meter hurdles, because in this event, we actually saw a new Diamond League record from the Olympic champion Masai Russell, as she dropped a 12.19 as she took down Tonya Marshall and Toby Amusan by less than a tenth of a second, but still, ever getting under 12.2 is some pretty crazy work, and Masai has completely upped her game since 2024. Lastly, we need to give some attention to Karsten Warholm, the world record holder in the men's 400 hurdles, who completely annihilated everyone in this field with another Diamond League record, this time achieving a solo effort of 46.28 seconds. 2025 has been a pretty interesting year for Karsten Warholm. He hasn't raced quite as much as he has in years prior, but today, he took a massive win, running this Diamond League record and winning this race by over a second. A few other notable performances from this event include Sharika Jackson taking a solid 200-meter win. We saw Yard Nagoose return to his winning ways in the men's 1,500, achieving a time of 3:33. We saw the New Zealand athlete Hamish Kerr win the men's high jump with a jump of 2.33 meters. And also Femke Bol dropped a sub-52 in the women's 400 hurdles. And given that Sadie McLaughlin-Lavrone will not be running in the hurdles for this year's World Champs, I would be shocked if Femke Bol did not take that win, and potentially she could get close to that 51-second barrier. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, until next time.